I was listening to this thing this dude sent me. This guy was like, remember last week some guy called, he was like, hey, I made a comedy routine where it's me doing a Shaquille O'Neal impression interviewing you. And I was like, oh boy, this I am terrified of. The guy sent it to me again. I'm going to tell you one thing. Let me tell you, it was not that bad. He pulled clips of me talking, and then it did his own Shaquille O'Neal impression. I'm going to actually play this thing right now, at least some of it. Let's take a listen to this. I think it's time for our celebrity guest. It's very exciting to welcome this guy to the WFMU airwaves.
Thank you, Tom. This is Shaquille O'Neal, center, the Boston Celtics.
That's so exciting. How are you?
Well, you know, I've been more like center of the bench lately.
Yes.
But it's playoff time, so all us old men got to give it 110%.
Yes. Now you have your voice, your style.
Yeah, I can't run, so I just hang out under the net, trying to get easy points and rebounds.
You just keep going up and keep going up.
Exactly.
It's, yeah. What do you do? Do you just...
I usually goaltend to foul people.
You've also done plenty of acting over the last bunch of years.
Yeah, I played Steel in the movie Steel.
Mm-hmm. It's a good
I played
movie.
Kazam in the movie Kazam.
Mm-hmm.
And I played a Blue Chip in the movie Blue Chips. And next summer, look for me in Blue Chips too. Chips Ahoy. I will once again play Neon, but now it's 18 years later. I'm a grizzled veteran, and me and Butch have been banned from the NBA, and we play unsanctioned basketball games on a cruise ship in international waters.
I hope you're not serious.
Totally.
There'll be another one?
Yeah.
All right.
Tom, you know this is your kind of movie.
Yeah, it kind of is.
And we got Nick Nolte back in it.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Bulletron legacy. His CGI is DUI mugshot over his face.
Really?
We just did it because we could.
Oh, look, what can't you do? This is the 21st century.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I dunk so hard the boat sinks. It ends with me and Nick Nolte floating on a bag of basketballs.
I love it.
Before I go, did you want to take a call?
Let's take a call. Who's good here, Mike? One. FMU, you're on the air.
What's happening?
Tommy Heinsohn?
Yeah.
What?
What's going on there?
Tom, you know Tommy?
Yes. The guy has to be the worst announcer I've ever heard.
What does that mean?
I'm all for homers. You want to root for the team and be the announcer, rah-rah. That's great.
I'm an up-tempo guy.
I share a name with you. Look, this guy did I'm not going to play. Runs out of steam a little bit when Tommy Heinsohn comes into the mix. But this guy did all right. On NPR. Got Adam Carolla. Maybe I should start doing hate speech like Adam Carolla. Maybe that's what I need. Start talking about how we should basically exterminate other peoples on the planet. Is that what we need to do for me to get some ink about this show? Then you got the Joe Rogan, this guy. I was listening to. He's got this podcast. That's the meathead from Fear Factor. With no talent. I'm listening to this thing, and he's like one of these guys. And look, you want to work out, more power to you. Physical fitness is an awesome thing. But this guy, first of all, he might as well do a show live from GNC Center. And he's like one of these, and I'm not trying to generalize here, but there's a type of weightlifting dude who think that they're like super smart because they're super strong. All they know about is like what you should be taking. And you hear him on, I listened to this thing where it was him and Andy Dick talking, where it's just like, you got to be kidding me. This is really how I'm spending my time. Admittedly, it was 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. I actually thought the rapture was one day late. I was listening to that thing. I was like, here it goes. It's happening. Oh, no, it's just It's how bad this thing is. But he's got this thing where he's like, no, you gotta be taking the human growth hormone, and you gotta like. And now he's one of these guys like. He's one of those guys who like screams at people who smoke pot until he starts smoking pot. Then he'll yell at everybody about why they're not smoking pot. Like one of those guys. You smoke pot, you're a moron. You're a drug addict. Then he starts smoking it. I'm telling you, the greatest thing ever is smoking pot. And then he does these things. He talks about he's got one of those altered state tanks in his house. He's like, I go in the tank. It helps me. It helps me. I go in the tank. I wish someone would lock him in that tank.
A sensory deprivation.
Yeah, yeah, a sensory deprivation tank. He has a sensory deprivation tank in his house that he goes and he talks all about like. And this guy is as dumb as the day is long, and he's one of these guys who thinks he's super smart just because he can lift stuff. And then he's like one of these guys like, I'm gonna be like Bill Hicks and tell the truth with my comedy. And he starts telling it, and it's the dumbest stuff you've ever heard. Yeah, you're telling the dumb truth from your dumb head. And then if he ever hears this, you know what he's gonna want to do? He's gonna want to beat me up. Well, because first of all, let him come beat me up. I'll deck him. Well, I don't know why I'm saying this at all, because he will beat me up. Oh, that was a misstep. I'm striking that one from the record. He will beat me up. That was not meant as any sort of challenge, Mr. Rogan. Please don't come after me. But that's who's in charge now. Tough guys and bullies. How do bullies get in charge of funny stuff? Funny stuff's supposed to be for the people who got picked on. Now you got guys like that. Bullies are in charge of it. I'm telling you, you can take human growth hormone, and then you go in the tank. I'm going to be like Bill Hicks and tell you all the truth.
But haven't they all been bullies? Like, wasn't Milton Berle kind of like a
Eddie
bully?
Murphy?
Yeah, but you didn't have
Even
to...
Woody Allen.
Yeah,
in a way.
but you didn't have to worry about getting thumped by Woody Allen. He was not going to clobber you.
What was the really strong guy who is known for? Was it Sid Caesar or was it the one who?
Joe Piscopo?
Joe Piscopo.
Joe Piscopo got in, but Joe Piscopo was not going around acting like he was going to beat people up. The only way I'd beat that guy is if he can't turn his head, I'm sure, with that thick neck of his. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? If I could just keep staying out of his 45-degree line of vision. Where is he? Where is he?
Is he a little guy? I always picture Joe Rogan as being
Like a
bit
fire plug?
Yeah, one of the fire
Little.
plug types.
I'm sure he's not very tall, but he's one of the. He's. It's a sick, sad affair now. The bullies are in charge of everything.
He sold out a stadium, or not a stadium. He sold out Massey Hall in Toronto. He just came there and sold it really super well. We're relating to you.
Fair
asking
enough.
A dumb question.
Fair enough.
Chris Locke is a good friend of mine who is hilarious, and
We know who Chris Rock is.
yeah, Chris Rock. This little known fact that he's from Toronto.
Chris Locke?
Yeah, Chris Locke's a funny
Okay.
guy. And Tim Gilbert